What's up, friends and foes? Welcome to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
And I'm Wyatt.
And last weekend we had a great time. Well, I don't want to speak for both of us, but myself and I believe Wyatt had a great time at Kansas City Planet Comic Con.
Yes.
And we're just going to go kind of through some of our stories, some of the things we picked up along the way. And Wyatt, I'm going to let you kick off, I guess, the story portion because I went Friday and Saturday. You went for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days, and I have not heard how Sunday went. So, without further ado, how'd Sunday go?
Sunday was great. It was. I didn't honestly intend to be there the entire day, but I was there the whole day.
That's
I didn't get there right when the con opened like we had the previous 2 days. I think I got there about an hour and a half after the show opened, or the con opened. It wasn't so bad. Like, it wasn't near as crowded as Saturday.
Really?
It was still pretty crowded. But when I left the house, I was like, I'm going to get 2 signatures, I'm going to go to the panel, and then I'm going to go home. And the 2 signatures I was going to get was Elijah Wood and Sean Astin. Or Astin, is it Astin or Austin? I think Astin.
I think it's Ashton. Aston.
Samwise.
Rudy.
But, so I was going to get their autographs and go to their panel, and then I was going to book it on home because it had been a long weekend. But that didn't happen. So, not in that order. I didn't make it to the panel, unfortunately, because I know you can find on the website where the autograph times and scheduling are, but I don't know where in the hell it's at because it's like a hard thing to find on the website.
The only I've noticed on the website, the only 2 things that are efficient are the guests and how to buy the passes.
Exactly.
Everything else, they're like, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they care about. But so it was my mistake that I thought there was going to be 3 autograph signings like there was, on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought that because the con's 2 hours shorter.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got there and ran over there and jumped in line. Elijah Wood's line was capped already for his first autograph session. I was like, oh shit, okay. So Sean's was as well. And they were like, just keep circling back. You'll probably get in, just keep circling back. So like I went and looked at a few things, and I got a couple of things for my niece while I was there. And by the time I came back, it was almost time for their panel, and they were like, this just going to stay capped because they got to get out of here. And I was like, bet. Okay, sweet. Love it. So I had like an hour to kill or whatever, but I wasn't going to go to the panel because I just wanted to be there, to be ready to get in line.
Yeah.
Well, I waited about 10 minutes longer than I was expecting to wait, or than I was intending to wait, because I was looking at something at a booth, and it took longer than I meant for it to. So by the time I got back to their lines, they were almost capped again already. And this was the last autograph signing for the convention. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta make a decision right now. And I just jumped in Sean's line because it was shorter, and I didn't know if it was cash, if they would take card. I didn't know what it was, but I had enough cash in my wallet for one, so I jumped in his line, and I was like, I can jump out of here and maybe run to the ATM if I need to. Well, no, I knew Elijah's line was cash, so I was like, I can jump over there and grab that and then run back over. That didn't happen. I got through Sean's line, which took a while because the panel ran a few minutes long, and then they had to get back, and stuff. But once he started, he was scooting. But I think that was due to they were like, you guys got to get out of here because you got photo ops, and then the show was over. So they were kind of rushing him through signing stuff. But even so, he was very polite and very kind, and he took time to have a small conversation, shook my hand, asked me about my bracelet that I had on, signed my book, and he was awesome. Very brief interaction, but he was awesome. I tried to get in Elijah's line. It didn't happen. It was capped. Still. And they had an overflow section. They were like, you might get in. So I ran to the ATM, and as I'm walking back, they let overflow people in. And I saw them go in, and then they were like, capped, done.
Oh.
I was like, no fucking way. No. So I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and they didn't let anybody else in. And then he had to go to his photo op thing. So I made a rash decision, and I bought a photo op at the last second. and I had another hour to wait, or roughly an hour to wait. So I still got to meet him. I still got to shake his hand, and he was also incredibly kind and cool for the brief 30 seconds I got to talk to him. But I got a picture with Elijah Wood as well.
Nice.
And so then I just had some time to kill for the rest of the convention, in which there was someone that you talked to on Saturday. He had one person in line, so I went to his line, went to his table. Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna.
Dude.
Gabriel motherfucking Luna.
I feel like you gotta tell your story first, and then I'll come back to
Yeah. So so when it came to the celebrities there, I wasn't really there to meet with anybody because it was all exorbitantly expensive, and there was nobody that Elijah Wood was somebody I wanted. Weirdly enough, Elijah Wood, somebody I wanted to meet, not for Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah, he was in one of my favorite movies. It's called Everything Is Illuminated. It is this very dark comedy about a Jewish man recounting his a relative of his journey and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
One of a movie I saw maybe a little bit too young to see it, but became it. Yeah, if you watch it, you're gonna be like, that makes sense that Corey likes this. But we were over in the celebrity area because you wanted to meet John Rice Davies, right?
Yes.
Is that how it says? Gimli. And as we were kind of walking around, I see a dude who vaguely looks familiar, and I realize it's Gabriel Luna, and he's just chatting with people. So I just kind of oh shit, that's Gabriel. I think mostly I'm saying it to you oh shit, that's Gabriel Luna, and I just keep walking, and all of a sudden I feel as we're 5 steps beyond, I feel just the most warm hand clasp, I can still feel it clasp the back of my shoulder. And I turn around, and fucking Gabriel Luna in full, his hair is swept back.
Yeah.
He had sunglasses on and a leather jacket. Go, hey, what's up, man? Gabriel Luna. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know who the fuck you are. I'm trying not to blow over your spot. He's like, oh, man, I appreciate it. And, we shake hands. We don't just shake hands. We, dap it up.
Yeah.
And, do a bro hug. And then he just keeps walking.
Yeah.
And,
and what was bullshit is I didn't get up there in time to say anything to him. Because I got stuck behind somebody else, and then in the shock of, that's Gabriel Luna's, Corey's talking to Gabriel. Yeah. And I didn't make it up there in time before he was off to his photo op thing.
Yep. And just genuinely because I did not expect it to happen.
Yeah.
And, if I'm being honest, I don't know that much Gabriel Luna shit. I know he's Tommy in Last of Us. Yeah. And I think that's actually what I said. I was like, oh, it's Tommy.
I think you said Gabriel. I remember you saying Gabriel. Yeah.
All right. But... yeah, he's just super cool, super nice, and now we're fucking best friends. You know,
basically, yeah.
It was genuinely. You can ask why, because he's right here. I almost swooned afterwards. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, you didn't almost, you did.
Yeah, I was like that. I was smitten because he was such a it was that perfect cool, handsome, and just nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And we talked about it the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And I think we were at IHOP at midnight?
Yep.
Excuse me, talking about it still.
And then you know what? At IHOP, Gabriel Luna. No, I'm joking. Anyways, I got us off track with my Gabriel Luna story of me becoming best friends and you getting cucked out there.
Sure did.
Sure did. What was your Gabriel Luna story?
Okay, so my Gabriel Luna story was that he had one person in line, and I was kind of trying to decide what to do and where to go and how to finish my day at the convention, and I realized, as I said, he had one person in line, and it was right there like it was meant to be. So I ran over there, and I scuttled up his line, and just waited and waited and waited, and I bought an autograph, or I paid for an autograph. I was like, that'd be cool. I'll shake his hand and tell him the story and stuff. And so I get up there, and he's just like he was with you, cool as fucking could be, dude. He couldn't be cooler. Yeah. And shook my hand, just gave me all the time in the world and stuff. And as he's signing the thing, he's we're just kind of bullshitting. And then I told him the story about Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, I gave you a little bit of shit in the story. I was like, and my friend kept giving me shit that he got to meet you, and I didn't really. And and fun, but I didn't get to meet you, so I had to come meet you today. And he was cracking up, he loved it. And then he was like, you know what? Get your phone up. We're gonna one up your buddy right now. So we took like 3 pictures with my phone,
Oh,
and so now
shit.
we're best friends.
Oh shit!
And that's pretty much how my Sunday ended. I walked through the rest of the art area of the convention, bought a couple more things, and skedaddled on.
That's
home.
awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome.
It was so cool.
Bring him back in the MCU. Fuck it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But
I'm now a massive Gabriel Luna fan.
yeah,
so.
me too. Everything he's gonna be in, I'm gonna watch.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
So that was Sunday for me.
Awesome. That sounds like a very good, nice, chill Sunday con.
It was. I guess I have one more quick thing. I did get these 2 issues of Rocket Raccoon. I got 3 and 4. I got 1 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Got to find 2 still, but that was my exciting pickup of the
Which
day.
those are the Mike Mignola ones.
Yes.
The creator of Hellboy. That was like one of the first series he ever worked on for one of the big 2.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to find it, but I'm really happy that it did. So
that is really cool. So to kind of add on to my Gabriel Luna story of like that, like not to give myself too many compliments, but I actually do think I handled that perfectly as far as like experiencing a surprise meeting with a celebrity, because I was cool, calm, was like, hey man, I'm not trying to blow up your spot. Like I felt like I kept it cool, and obviously he was way cooler. I think that's because the night before, I had the exact opposite situation.
That one.
Because so Wyatt met Friday night, the first night, got in line to meet and get an autograph from Keith David, and while he was in that line, this is gonna be a 2-parter story.
It is a 2-parter.
Well, this is technically a 3-parter. My story is a 2-parter.
Okay.
So while Wyatt's in line, I had picked up Ultimate Spider-Man #1 that day, and yeah,
I know.
In the original one from like the first run from the 2000s, which is like my favorite Spider-Man run ever, probably. I picked that one up, and Mark Bagley was there, and I was like, I knew I wanted that signature. I had kind of been avoiding his table all day because you had said he wasn't the nicest earlier that day. He seemed a bit like short.
Yeah, short. I wouldn't say he wasn't rude. He just didn't seem like he was that excited or anything.
Yeah.
So
which is fine. So I went I was like, okay, I'll go I'll run meet him and get his signature, and then I'll run back and hop back in line with Wyatt. And so on my way over there, as I'm walking, I see walking towards me Corey Taylor from Slipknot. Yeah. I am a huge Slipknot fan, and as I was walking, for some reason, instead of just saying, "Hey, what's up, man?" I did the most Wayne's World shit I could have done, and did the prayer hands at him, and he just was he saw me and went, "Sup, dude," and then did not stop. And then I was like, hold on, I gotta be cooler about that. I gotta say something to him. And so I turn around and I keep trying to catch up with him, but he's walking really fast. And so I realize I'm chasing down Corey Taylor. This is fucking weird. I should stop. So I turn around, and I turned around and I decided I went back to get the autograph from Mark Bagley. So I went to Mark Bagley's table. I saw someone standing there, and I was like, I saw Mark Bagley standing there, and I went, "Hey man, do you have time for one more signature?" Because this was the end of the day, so everybody was packing up. I was like, "Do you have one more time, time for one more signature?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Man, I put away all my markers. I do have a ballpoint pen in my pocket." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. I'm cool with that." Thinking it's Mark Bagley. I'd rather have the signature than not. I didn't know what his line was going to be like the next day. So I step in there. He gives me the signature, and I go to get my card out, and he was like, "Oh man, you know what? We put our readers away. So why don't you just go ahead and take it?" I was like, "Oh, sick. Okay. Thanks, man." I was like, "Are you sure?" I even said, I can come back the next day, in the morning, first thing, pay for it. And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. Just have it." I was like, "Awesome." So I grab it and I put it, I rebag it. I right away put it in my bag because I'm more worried about getting back over to Wyatt so that we don't get split up or that he's not too far in the line. And so we finish out our evening there. And so I get home that night and I pull the comic. I'm pulling out all my comic books I picked up that day to put them away and kind of catalog them because that's what I do. and I like looked at the Ultimate Spider-Man cover, and I'm looking at Mark Bagley's autograph, and it didn't look like Mark Bagley. The words did not read out Mark Bagley to me. But I was like, you know what? It's cursive. You know, people's autograph signatures, they're weird anyway. It's like always a form of chicken scratch. Whatever. It's probably not Mark. You know, it's fine. And so as I'm putting it away, I also pull up Planet Comic Con to like plan out our next, like my next day, and be like, what do I want to achieve next on this Saturday? And as I'm scrolling through the list of the guests and the creators, I scroll past Mark Bagley, and I'm like, boy, Mark Bagley looks real different in pictures. That's weird, you know. His hair's longer right now, and I was like, okay. And then so like for some reason I googled Mark Bagley, and it dawned on me, the guy I met and got a signature from was not Mark Bagley. And I'm telling you right now, because I found him on the site, it is a dude who has worked on Spider-Man before. Not Ultimate Spider-Man, who's worked on Spider-Man in general. And I, right now, with a signature on my Ultimate Spider-Man #1, could not tell you who this guy is. I still could not. I have no idea who he is. Very nice guy. It was just funny because after Wyatt had been like, yeah, Mark Bagley was like, he was kind of like just rushing people through. I was like, listen, Mark Bagley was super nice to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did wrong. Me and Mark Bagley are best friends.
Yeah.
And we are not, because that was not Mark Bagley. I met Mark Bagley the next day. I paid for his signature. And he was, well, like Wyatt said, was like, all right, thanks, bye. Like, he was just very professional about it.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is I opened up my Ultimate Spider-Man to the credits page, and I was like, sign here, because I didn't want him to see the other dude's signature. And I also think that's why the dude gave me the signature, because he was like, he doesn't know who I am.
Yeah,
so.
probably. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's probably my best creator meeting story.
Yeah.
But
well, and it was great how you told me, because like we started Saturday morning, like in the car on the way to the convention, and you were like, I want you to take the bag and flip it open and pull up that comic book and tell me if it looks like Mark Bagley's signature to you. No.
Nope.
But
so
that was great.
That was great.
That's a great story.
I got to meet a lot of the creators that. Well, what's funny to the one last kind of what's funny about that Mark Bagley story is I had just been talking to you earlier that day. I'm like, man, it's kind of easy meeting these creators because, like, you know their names. Like, I had met and got signatures from Chris Claremont, Dan Jurgens. The next day, I got one from Jim Starlin. Jason Aaron was another one. We got a lot. I got a lot of signatures. I know you did too.
Yeah, we both got a lot of signatures.
Yeah.
This convention.
And so I was like, it's kind of easy to meet these people. Like, I did my best to have questions for everybody, to have like some kind of interaction. I think my favorite was still either Chris Claremont or Paul Dini.
Yeah.
I asked Chris Claremont, do you have any Jim Shooter stories? And Chris gave me a look of, why the fuck would you ask me that? That's a very weird thing to ask. And he goes, I do, but not for you. I was like, fair enough. And I took my comic and walked. I asked Paul Dini and Dan Reba, both who worked on Batman animated series, if they have any Darwin Cook stories, because he's a creator that I've largely learned. You know, with comic books, we've talked about, you hear 1,000 names 1,000 times, and it like on the 1,000th time it clicks of like, oh my god, they've worked on all these things I've read.
Yeah.
Darwin Cook, not only he worked on the animated Superman animated series, Batman Beyond, but he also has written like some of my favorite Batman stories that I didn't realize he wrote. So he's just become a creator that in the last year I've become a much bigger fan of. So I asked him if they have any Darwin Cook stories, and I got Paul Dini and Dan Reba to tell me party stories. I won't relay the stories just because I feel like that's weird. But yeah, I got party stories from the guy who wrote Batman animated series.
Hell yeah, dude.
And it was like very relatable stories of like, oh yeah, I get where you're coming from, man.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I asked Paul Dini, do you have any Darwin Cook stories? He was like, oh yeah, Darwin's a wild guy. Because he's unfortunately passed. And Dan Reba came over afterwards and he was like, "Hey Dan, do you have any Darwin Cook stories?" And Darwin literally, or no, not Dan goes, "Oh, dude, Darwin was a wild man." So I got a real big kick out of that. I got a signed, what do you call it, print? Yeah. And Dan Reba did a little Batman doodle.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was really cool. And when I tell you, I've been doing that
Whoa, hey, wait.
I have been doing that doodle on like any flat surface I can find since
awesome.
I've gotten it. So
hell yeah.
Do you have any more meeting stories, Wyatt, that you would wish to share?
Well, yeah. So like Corey said, we got a lot of signatures between Friday, Saturday, and Jim Starlin. I didn't get Chris Claremont or Dan Jurgens because I've already gotten theirs in previous years, and I didn't bring any books to have them signed.
Yeah.
And their line, well,
I
Chris's line
thought
was
you
crazy
got something signed by Jurgen.
No, I did like in 2017 or something like that, 2016 maybe.
Okay.
I have like 3 or 4 books signed by him. So I just didn't really.
Yeah. I did have him sign my Death of Superman.
Yeah.
And I asked him, have you signed any more? Is there another cover you've signed as much as this one? And he goes, not even close, as he's handing it back to me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I had him sign to, was the black bag, the white bag, and the Death of Superman issue out of the bag. So, but yeah, so Jim Starlin was pretty cool. He was pretty personable.
Yeah.
I asked him how he came up with Thanos' name, and he said it was from a psychology class. Is where he got the idea. He got the idea in a psychology class, I should say. Let's see, did I get? We met Dustin. I can't remember his last damn name. All of a sudden,
Nguyen, I think it is. It's Nguyen. So
Yeah.
I'm more worried about pronouncing it wrong. I know how it's spelled because I pulled up his comic. I like went home and grabbed it. I knew, yeah. Which he's another dude that if you look into his history has drawn so many things that I've read.
yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
He was cool.
He was cool.
He didn't say very much.
No.
He had a really, really cool Absolute Batman, like just one of one drawing that he had made.
It was like $500.
It was like $500.
Which that's fair. An original print, that's fair.
Dude, it was cool. It was so cool. I wish I would have had the extra money to buy it. I just did not.
Yeah. I did ask Jim Sterling if he has any George Perez stories, because that's who drew with him on the Infinity Gauntlet. And he goes, we actually didn't really know each other that well until we did cons together. So I was like, all right, fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You got Dan Mora's signature, didn't you?
I did. I got Dan Mora's signature. I got to tell him he draws my favorite Superman right now.
I wish I would have got something signed by him. I just did not.
Yeah, very, very nice guy.
I don't think I got... Oh, I got the author of the new Black Cat series, or the current Black Cat series that's going on right now. I had her sign some books, and she was also very nice. And I got to meet Jeff Steitzer, he was the voice behind behind Halo 1 through Reach, I think, and then they brought him back in Infinite. He does all the medals and call outs for kill streaks and so on and so forth. And he gave me all the time in the world and was just so cool, and like you could tell he genuinely enjoys these interactions and getting to meet the fans and hear stories and stuff. And I definitely fangirled pretty hard when he was doing some of these lines in person, and getting to hear that in person was so cool, because I mean Halo's been my favorite thing for ever. I mean, since I discovered it when Halo 2 was out, had been out for a year or so. That was incredible. That might be my favorite experience of the con. Yeah. Just in terms of like meeting somebody, because it was the longest and most wholesome interaction I feel like besides Gimli. He was also
Gimli was awesome. Yeah. Wyatt did make Gimli sad.
No, I didn't make him sad
because he brought up his divorce.
No, I didn't. He brought up his own. But he laughed about it. So
yes.
Goddamn.
So Wyatt did not actually bring up his divorce. What happened is, I think you guys were talking about New Zealand.
No, I asked him if he had any favorite filming locations.
Okay.
And he mentioned, and he has such an elegant voice, dude. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
But he mentioned a scene or a location that they filmed part of the Council of Elrond in, and it was in Ireland. And he said, I'm flying back to Ireland this coming Monday, actually, after the convention ends. And I asked him if he was going back for a project or just to go. And He said, no, I'm finishing up a divorce, actually. And I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And he leaned back in his chair and laughed and said, I'm all the happier for it, and I think she is as well. So,
all right.
that was hilarious. But
Yes.
definitely some panic ensued there right out of the gate when he said that. But yeah, so then Jason Aaron, which Corey mentioned briefly, found that he's local from the area. Yeah. That was really cool. He was really cool to talk to.
Yeah, I got to tell him that because they did the Ra's al Ghul story in Absolute Superman.
Yeah.
I got to tell him that like back in high school, I'd actually written a fan fiction, and I exaggerate when I say wrote. I like had a really cool idea and I wrote ideas down and like pitched it to myself of Ra's al Ghul fighting Superman, because I was like, that's crazy that they've never done that.
Yeah.
And I think we even talked in somebody line. We talked to somebody in line about that.
Yeah.
And then Jason Aaron was like, cool. How do you think I did? I'm like, well, you did better than a 16-year-old in high school, that's for sure. I didn't say it like that. I think I was a bit sillier about it.
Yeah, you were.
But yeah, he was cool.
The big one, the big elephant in the room, though, Keith Davids was my finale of Friday.
Yep.
We were in line. The convention ended at 7, I think 7, right?
Yep.
We were in line
at 6:55.
Yep, we didn't get to his table till 9:30 something.
Yeah.
He had a panel, got back from the panel a few minutes late. The line was moving ungodly slow.
Yeah. We need to talk. There was some dude talking about traditional women behind us.
Oh my God.
That
asshole.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
He was just, that guy was, he was pretty unbearable himself. So kind of dancing around this one because it's an awkward story, but got up to the table, and as we were approaching the table through the slow line, the snail's pace line, you can just see Keith, and there's a lot of like, is he happy? Is he not happy? Is he cool? Is he having a good time? Is he not having a good time? He's not having a good time. Yeah. And as we're moving through the line, I'm getting more and more anxious because, like, again, as I just said, Halo has been my favorite thing forever now, or since I discovered it. And Arbiter is one of my favorite characters. And it was a little nerve-wracking because I didn't want this interaction to impact my love for the story and that character and that series. But we got up to I think we were maybe 3 people behind our turn to get up there, and you could just see he was done with the experience.
Yeah.
He was done with the day, and the people at his table were also done. The lady that took my money was also very just annoyed and didn't want to be there. And
she was nicer about it, though.
She was nicer, but she was still, you could tell, visibly annoyed and just didn't want to be there, which I get. She'd probably been there all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was just kind of not saying anything to anybody and rushing people through, or not even rushing people through, but just being stagnant is a word for it.
Yeah.
And then would who's next? Just not happily,
Yep.
call someone up to the table, and it seemed like he was having a good time at first because you could hear him singing every now and then.
Yeah, he had Sinatra playing the whole time.
Yeah, which was cool. But that was pretty quickly dissolved by the fact that he was not happy.
No.
And I got there, and I brought my childhood Halo 2. That it's a little beat up, it's a little rough, and I've never had a game or a DVD signed. Never even occurred to me to take which is silly now, and I know that, but it never occurred to me to take the slipcover out from inside of the case. Keith did it for me.
Yes.
As I said, hey man, thanks for staying late to do this, and he just sighed.
Yeah.
Didn't even look at me, didn't introduce himself, nothing, and then plopped my case back down on the table and begrudgingly signed my cover and handed it back to me, and kind of shook my hand with a bit of a annoyed smile, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And for the price of the autograph, the time that we spent, and I felt bad having Corey wait in line with me an extra 2.5 hours. That when we still had to drive home, that was a terrible experience.
And
And
I'll admit, I think I was just a little bit more tickled about all of it. Like, wow, and I don't think I was really cognizant of like why it did spend $70 to just be treated like he was a burden, and
that's what it felt like. So,
yeah.
So I mean, looking back, I am glad that I have the autograph. I'm glad that I got to meet this person. The interaction was highly disappointing, and I don't think it's affected my love for the story, but I'm definitely gonna think about that interaction every time I play that game. So that's disappointing. But I hope other people had better experiences than I did. But his booth was right next to Gimli's booth, and when we were in line for Gimli on Saturday, he was having the same exact type of interactions with people as we were watching. So I don't think many people had a better interaction. And I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
Say it.
Okay, fine.
We're starting beef with Keith David.
God damn it.
Keith David's going to be, let's get nerdy, enemy number one.
Maybe. But there was a girl, I think 1 or 2 people ahead of us, and she was so excited, and she handed him some kind of a drawing or a sketch that she had done. And she was maybe, I don't know, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
And was just, so excited to meet him and gave him this sketch. And he just was like, well, that's nice. Set it aside, did his thing. And then, like, they took a photo, and he was not happy at all. And that was just like, I don't know, that set a pretty bad tone for what was already set,
Yeah. I will say, I think it is his fault it took that long, though, to do everything.
Yeah.
Because William Shatner, so all day that first Friday that we were there, there was one message that would continually come over the intercom of William Shatner is on his way here. Literally, and it was like, I remember it was 5 o'clock, and we were like, like, this is about to be closed. Where is he at? Like, what do you mean he's not even here?
Oh, no,
yet?
it was like 6:30.
Well, yeah.
Or something like that. Or 6, maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
So, like, Shatner had a longer line, probably like double, if not triple the line of Keith David. Showed up after Keith David did.
Yeah.
And boy, for a 95-year-old, he must be fast because he got that shit cleared out in like 10 minutes.
It was gone.
Like, it literally was like we looked over, saw it, talked a little bit, looked back over. It was cleared out.
They were booking it through his stuff. And I would have been happier if that was the interaction. If it was just real quick, to the point, don't get out of there. Yeah. But it wasn't. So, and I'll compare the story about the girl giving him the sketch interaction. I'll compare that directly to Gimli, because we had the same exact scenario happen where there was a mom and her younger daughter in front of us, and the daughter gave John a sketch of, I think it was Gimli. I couldn't quite tell, but she was very excited about giving him this drawing that she had made, and she had her whole sketchbook with her, and she kind of flipped through it, and it was full of sketches, and he was so like just wholesome and happy and genuine, and like he just loved it, that like he adored that drawing and gave her all the time in the world, and was so kind and gave them a selfie, or took a selfie with them even though they hadn't paid for one, and that's awesome. I think it was such a cool, wholesome interaction, and he is just such a kind soul. But comparing that directly to Keith's was just an interesting comparison, I guess, for lack of a flashier term. But
who knows, maybe if Keith David gets a divorce, he'll be like,
hey, maybe
I'm Keith David, baby.
Maybe. But I'll get off my soapbox now. That was
So that's kind of all of our stories about meeting, our meeting and getting our autographs and all that. What we're going to touch on briefly here is kind of some of the highlights of what we picked up. Obviously, I don't have my collection here because I don't want to travel with some of the more exciting pieces I got. Wyatt obviously has his stack here, so we're just going to go over some quick highlights, and we're probably going to both do our own videos down the road where we go more in depth what we picked up. So Wyatt, you go ahead and kick us off. What are some of the highlights that you picked up this past weekend?
Some of the highlights, I got a lot of Thor books. I got a lot of Spider-Man books, specifically ASM stuff. but one that stuck out to me just because, you know, the trailer that came out recently is this one with Boomerang on the front. I've seen this going up quite a bit in price lately, and I just happened to find it in a random box. So that was pretty sweet. That's a cool cover I've always wanted, you know.
Who drew that cover? Do you know?
Nope, I don't know.
All right.
Couldn't tell you. And then I got this guy here at a really good price. So first Bettery Bill, and then I also got the follow-up issue as well. So that's cool. But my Grail is not going to be in this video. It's in this box, so we'll see that in that upcoming video.
So that's a good tease, Wyatt. You know how to do programming. So
sign me up to WWE.
So some of my, I guess, highlights that I'll try to remember here. I got a lot of Green Lantern. If you don't know, one of the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run is one of my favorite comic book runs of all time. So I am trying to get as many of those issues as possible. Picked up a really good chunk of them. I got Nightwing's. Tom Taylor's first Nightwing. I got Tom King's first Wonder Woman. I got a bunch of Immortal Hulk. And there's a few other keys there as well that I'm very happy. One disappointment that I got that I'm like, fuck, is that I picked up what I thought was Death of the Family, the issue where Jason Todd died. Because it was on someone's wall, right? It was on the dude's wall. It was for $20. And so I was like, ooh, man. And of course the whole Eye of the Beholder and all that. I did not realize it's not the issue itself. It's like a early version of a trade paperback because it's just the 4 collected issues that the story ran through. So still kind of a cool cover, but not the classic cover I did. I did get, so I told Wyatt my one goal, or like one of my few goals this Comic-Con was I wanted something drawn. I wanted a Jack Kirby era comic book because I didn't have anything from Jack himself, and I got that.
You did.
And I got it in I got a really special Jack Kirby book that if you want to check it out, check my video out, and I will be happy to talk about that in that video.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of everything. Wyatt, do you have any other things you want to touch on, or?
Not really, other than just got some pretty cool art pieces. I might show them off in that video.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Awesome.
That's about it. It was a great con.
It was a great con.
A lot of good cosplay. So
it was probably honestly my favorite convention experience.
Yeah, I think it was mine too, and we've been to several now.
We've been to together, like so. we've been going to conventions together since
what, like
2012, 2012, yeah.
Yeah, probably
because it was freshman year.
Yeah.
Yep. It had been 10 years since I've been to a convention. It will definitely not be 10 years till the next one. No. I think the next one's actually in September.
I think so, yeah.
That's the Lawrence Comic Con.
Yep.
So with that, if we go to the Lawrence Comic Con and we have our experience, we'll probably talk about that as well. And we'll talk about what we get there. So
absolutely.
Go ahead and if you guys have been to a Comic Con this year so far, I know MegaCon just happened down in Florida.
It did.
I think Dragon Con's about to happen or it has happened.
Yeah, I think C2E2 just happened too.
Yeah, we're kind of in the convention season. So if you have any con stories or any fun pickups that you've gotten from this year so far, please comment down below. If you want to follow along as we talk about more about our comic book collections and some just other general comic book things, amongst other nerdy things, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to kind of drive some circulation here, kind of get some more butts and seats for us, and we would appreciate if you could help us out. So, Wyatt, do you have anything else before we sign off?
Let us know what your favorite cosplay you've seen at a Comic-Con was in the comments below.
Yes.
Yeah, please follow along.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Till then, you guys be good. We got to get back to nerding out about Keith David.
Well, something like that.